Subscribe for more.
I never thought humiliation would be the thing that finally woke me up. Not shouting, not cheating rumors, not the quiet distance at night, but laughter. Her laughter. My name is Callum Reeves. I am 39, work logistics, pay my bills, live clean. I met Harper at a mutual friend's barbecue 8 years ago. She was confident, sharp-tongued, magnetic. I liked that she spoke her mind. She said she liked that I was steady. For a long time, that felt like enough. I believed respect would always protect us. I was wrong, and that truth arrived brutally later. The shift was subtle, almost polite. Compliments turned into jokes. Jokes turned into comments made with an audience. Harper had a way of smiling before she cut, like warning bells wrapped in charm. It started with small things: my haircut, my shoulders, my weight after a long winter. Everyone laughed, so I laughed too. Men are taught to absorb it. But inside, something tightened. I started avoiding mirrors, avoiding beaches, avoiding moments where her eyes could measure me. She said I was being sensitive. I said nothing again. Silence became my shield, though it cut me daily without mercy always. Her birthday dinner was where everything collapsed. A crowded restaurant, friends, wine flowing, phones out. Someone mentioned fitness routines, and Harper leaned back, looked at me, and said, loud enough, "Callum gave up trying years ago." She laughed first. Others followed. I felt heat crawl up my neck, not anger, just exposure. I smiled, nodded, excused myself to the restroom, and stared at my reflection. I didn't look broken. I looked invisible. When I returned, she didn't apologize. She kissed my cheek like it was over. The table resumed talking, as if nothing important had happened to me anymore there. That night, I lay awake replaying it. Not the joke, but her eyes. There was no accident there. Something colder lived behind them. I checked her phone the next morning, not proud, just tired. Messages stacked deep with a coworker named Owen. Gym selfies, late jokes, complaints about me, my body, my presence. She wrote that she felt embarrassed standing next to me now. Reading that didn't hurt like I expected. It clarified. The shame wasn't the joke. The shame was staying after knowing the truth. I closed the phone slowly and made a decision, then without confrontation or drama. I didn't expose her. I didn't confront Owen. I didn't announce my pain. I simply withdrew. I stopped initiating conversations, stopped sharing my day, stopped asking questions I already knew answers to. I became polite, distant, functional. I slept earlier, ate better, walked alone after work. Harper noticed the absence but misread it as compliance. She grew bolder, sharper, careless. That was the strange part. When you stop reacting, people reveal exactly how little they value you. I washed quietly, collecting clarity instead of arguments. Every day felt lighter, even as the relationship quietly died in plain sight at home. 2 weeks later, I was gone. Not dramatically. While she was on a weekend trip, I packed essentials, clothes, documents, my old guitar. I left the apartment clean. No note, no accusations. I blocked nothing. I just removed myself. She texted that night asking where I was. I replied once, "I know what you think of me. I'm choosing myself." That was it. No fight followed, only missed calls. Disappearing wasn't punishment. It was self-preservation. I refused to be the punchline of someone else's insecurity. Peace arrived quietly, without applause, without witnesses, without regret or explanations to anyone there. Months passed. I rebuilt routines, not to impress anyone, but to reconnect with myself. The weight came off slowly. Confidence returned faster. I heard through friends that Harper was confused, telling people I vanished without explanation. She left out the dinner, the messages, the laughter. That's how these stories go. The person who endures quietly is cast as cruel for leaving. I didn't correct the narrative. I didn't need to. Healing doesn't require witnesses. It requires honesty, especially the kind you finally offer yourself when you stop begging for love that already left and start valuing your dignity above everything. I don't hate Harper. I don't wish her harm. Shame poisons the person who wields it long before the target. What I learned is simple. Love without respect is erosion. Attraction without kindness is performance. If someone mocks you publicly, they've already left privately. Staying teaches them it's acceptable. Leaving teaches you it isn't. Disappearing wasn't weakness. It was the strongest boundary I ever set. I stopped auditioning for approval and walked away with my spine intact, my silence louder than any argument we never had. That truth stayed with me longer than the marriage ever could have done there. If you're listening to this and feeling that familiar tightness, pay attention. Disrespect rarely announces itself with cruelty first. It arrives dressed as humor. It waits for witnesses. It counts on your silence. You don't owe endurance to anyone who erases your dignity. You don't need permission to leave a room where you're laughed at. Walking away quietly isn't losing. It's refusing to bleed for entertainment. I disappeared from her life, but I finally showed up in my own, and that made all the difference. Sometimes absence is the only language disrespect understands fully when words have failed you completely. I'm not telling this story for sympathy. I'm telling it because men are taught to endure humiliation quietly and call it strength. It isn't. Strength is leaving before bitterness hollows you out. Strength is choosing solitude over shared contempt. She shamed me in public, and I vanished in private. No revenge. No spectacle. Just clarity. If someone makes you the joke, make your exit the lesson. I did, and I never heard her laughter again. But I finally heard my own voice, steady, unafraid, and free. That silence became the loudest victory of my life after years of quiet pain.